I just went to adjust my glasses and I'm not wearing them. Sick.
Why not?
Well, I just left them inside. I've done a lot of editing today. I finally got the
The malaria
Dr. Henry
hysteria.
Heimlich's malaria hysteria video. It's 19 minutes long, and I reckon
Ish.
it's gonna slap. Yeah, it honestly
Good.
the best video I've ever made. Without fail, it's the best video I've ever made.
Good.
Yeah, and I need to keep like beating it every time.
I started working on my latest video. I started playing Grim Fandango. Because
I
I'm
don't know
going
what
through
that
the lowest selling games. It was made by the same guy, or directed and written by the same guy that directed and wrote Brutal Legend, Tim Schafer.
Okay.
So
Brutal
yeah,
Legend was a classic game.
yeah, but it didn't sell well, so I'm going to replay that. But I think I need a better controller, just because the one I have is $30, and there's definitely some input delay.
Has it
Which
got
is
stick
rude.
drift already? Like that's normally what goes with those controllers, like straight away.
Nah, well, like I think that only really happens on the PlayStation controllers. But yeah, no, so no stick drift, just a really cheap, kind of awful controller. The only it looks exactly the same as an Xbox 360 controller, but the only issue is that it doesn't have the X.
All right. Well, I mean, if you've followed us along for this far, welcome back to the Oosh Brothers podcast. Sometimes we
Welcome.
do just waffle our intros, and sometimes we're switched on right from the very get go. But we needed to know where we're at with our video editing selves and our gaming selves. Louis,
We're a couple of breakfast
it's
food items. We're a couple of wafflers.
we are a couple of wafflers. I have a black
Yeah,
belt in waffle.
yeah. I'm the president of Yep Ham.
Oh,
Um,
bro, I ordered the Yappuccino.
Call me a Dutch defender that played for Man United in the 90s because I'm Yap Stam.
Yep, stamp. As soon as you said Dutch defender. Anyway, welcome back to the Oosh Brothers podcast. We last spoke on Tuesday and pumped out the episode on Wednesday. It
Absolutely.
has been a hectic 4 or 5 days in the outside world.
There's been some
Things just
stuff
keep
going
popping up
on.
out of nowhere. Oh my God, has there been some stuff going on? But first and foremost, we do the check-ins. So how's you, man? Like in the last 5 days since we spoke last, how's yourself?
Oh, no, we're doing good. We're doing good. Yeah, just trying to get some content up and running. I've got a few video ideas, starting some scripts. I want to get some content out for this new channel. The hair's growing longer every day. I look like a founding father, so I'm good with that, you know. I got a new shirt. It says, "Mess with the honk, you get the bonk." Guess where I got it from?
Nice. I'm gonna go with Timu.
It was absolutely 100% Timu. So
Big ups to
good, dude.
Timu. Thanks
Oh
for
yeah,
your
I
time.
got a new watch. Got a new watch strap. I got some slippers on the way because my other ones had a hole in them. I wore them
Yeah.
to go and put the rubbish down in the little area that we have for the apartment building. And I found out there was a hole in them, and I stepped in some water because it was raining. So,
Oh, fun.
but that's right.
Yeah.
They
I
were
got my
pretty cheap
entire.
warehouse ones anyway.
Oh, fair call. I've got my entire warehouse fit coming from Timu. I'm hoping it gets here before Wednesday, bro. Otherwise, I'm going to be wearing some raggedy ass clothes over this Tasman Sea, over the
True.
ditch. But yeah, so I mean, in the last 4 or 5 days, basically just been a lot of cleaning, a lot of packing. But no, seriously, it's just been a lot of prep stuff. So I mean, like we've got animals we got to sort out and all that kind of stuff. All the kids, their first time flying. Well, in recent memory anyway, like the last time they flew, they were very, very young, so neither of them remember it. So it's going to be a new experience, a cognitive experience because they'll actually remember this, which is kind of cool. Flying with Qantas, the fight between Air New Zealand and Qantas for the world's safest airline continues. At the moment, Qantas is in number 2, but at least we're not Ryanair, at least we're not Malaysian Airlines, at least we're not, any of those
Yeah.
ones.
Someone actually asked a very valid question. This is quite a while ago now, but someone asked the question, "Who is Ryan?" for Ryanair, which I thought was a
That's a
very good
really good
question.
point. Yeah,
Yeah,
no, that's
I've
one
never
of those
looked it
things
up.
where you
I've never
sort of
looked it
go
up
like,
myself.
I'm normally with things like that, it's a last name.
Yeah,
Yeah, so
but
like
who is
very
Ryan?
very seldom. Yeah, well, I mean, who are they? Is the big question, but yeah, very very seldom is it a first name. It's normally a last
Hmm.
name. Um, yeah, actually, that's a really good point. But an even better point. Speaking of things, so household names. We're looking at Tupperware this week because after
We
77
are.
years, it's closing down.
Speaking of Pack and Schmeat,
Speaking of packaged meat, which definitely wasn't cut from the episode about 2 minutes ago, after 77 years, it's shutting down. And I was thinking about it earlier today because Tupperware is kind of like synonymous with your sort of leftovers and other bits and pieces. But for a lot of like us 90s, early 2000s y kids, another big thing was Avon. Like there was an Avon lady. Do you remember any Avon ladies coming around?
nah, I don't personally.
So the Avon
Oh,
lady,
pardon
you
me.
would come around and she would have this big stock of like just makeup and other trinkety bits and pieces
That does sound
that sort
familiar
of
though.
yeah, those the homebound lasses would absolutely shrivel up and die for. So at any one time in the late 90s, early 2000s, everyone's house had a little bit of Avon and a little bit of Tupperware. So there's kind of a nostalgic vibe to it. But to be honest with you, in the world that we live in now, where every single person has microplastics in their testicles, it kind of stands to reason that maybe
Yeah,
we shouldn't be storing our things in plastic anymore.
yeah.
That might just
It's
be
quite
me. I don't
ironic
know. I
actually that it's ironic that they're going into liquidation, given that plastic doesn't like disintegrate or break down. You
No,
know,
and it's yeah,
it's quite it's not a it's kind of a full circle moment really if you think about it.
yeah, it really is. I'm at a point where the nihilism does kick in every so often when I'm being philosophical and thinking to myself, but I'm seriously terrified for future generations when it comes to microplastics because the microplastics in our testicles, as it were, can render us infertile. Um, uh,
Well, not
is
all
it
of us.
infertile?
Yeah, I get like infertile,
And yeah, I don't
infertile.
know. No, I don't know if because is infertile just for chicks or is that dudes too? I don't know the parameters of the word
I think it's just for dudes. I think it might be for both. I mean, you could for
because
dudes
we
you could
can be
just say
rendered
like
sterile.
yeah. I think infertile
Yeah,
might be females then. You could just say shooting dust if you're a dude. So
yeah, that's fair actually. Yeah, shooting
yeah,
blanks.
yeah,
Yeah, it's yeah. So it's future generations to come. Everything's housed in plastic though. It's not just like Tupperware that was
mm,
holding our meat and whatever else when we were kids. The
schmeat.
spag bowl, so you couldn't quite our schmeat. But I'm not going to be able to cut it out of the episode now because I've brought it
No,
up twice.
no.
Damn it. So like you put your spag bowl in the Tupperware and you just couldn't wash it out because of all the oil and fats and the meat and that. So like it's these future generations. It's not just Tupperware that's storing the food. It's like noodle canteen containers. It's
Mm, mm,
your the plastic tray that the meat comes in. If you're grating cheese and you grate a little bit too close to the plastic, boy, how do you bet you're getting some nice little
yeah.
microplastics that aren't going to break down in your system, So
What's actually? But
it's
before we move on, what's your go-to noodle canteen choosing? What's your go-to noodle
oh
canteen
dang.
meal?
Go
Just
to
that you bring it up.
oh bro, I'm a sweet and sour pork girly, like from way back.
Yeah,
And it's
that's
just
fair.
I and on a combination fried rice as well. I like to double dip with my
Mm,
meat selection, but I with my schmeat selection, and but
there
I
it is.
rather enjoy the yeah, I used to just get fried rice, but I slipped up and said combination once. And I've never looked back. And it's just yeah,
Yeah,
sweet and sour
that's
pork on a
fair.
combination fried rice. Yeah.
That's fair. I'm a number three guy. Because I can't pronounce it, but it's fucking delicious. They got the thick rice noodles, they got the shrimp, the schmeat, all the good
Yeah.
S's. I think it's the fried koi tiao. I'm not sure if that's the actual pronunciation, but that's the go. I just say it's the number three because it's it's up there in the favorite meals. Number three currently. Number one's always spaghetti
Oosh.
bolognese. Number
Yeah, that
two's
goes hard.
cheese and spaghetti toasted sandwiches, but top two cooked by mum. And then number three, uh, actually probably number three would be the Mrs. Nachos. They
Oh,
go pretty
true.
handy.
Dean's lasagna doesn't even make a top appearance at this point.
It's like, um, I just think it's like it's you can't really rank Dean's lasagna because it's become its own deity, really.
It's mythical, eh? Yeah, no, I get
Yeah,
that. Yeah, it's taken on a life of its own. When we got married, there was lasagna that was there, but it wasn't my wife's lasagna. So like everyone was coming up being like, "Oh, this is good, but I've heard amazing things about your lasagna." It wasn't a commonly known thing that wasn't her lasagna. People that had it had tasted it and just went, "Nah, this ain't it," and told other people to be like, "Hey, don't judge this lasagna too harshly. It's not her lasagna."
yeah,
I was even asked for football breakup this year. So I was away being a content creator and a famous guy down in Blenheim for that charity match that we absolutely got whipped in. But I missed out on prize giving. Not that I won anything anyway. I'm too, like unathletic. I'm just there for the lols. And they asked me specifically if they would be if we would be able to have 2 trays of lasagna ready. They would use club funds to pay for the mince and all of the other ingredients necessary for the bechamel sauce, yada yada yada. And they would have 2 trays of specifically Dean's lasagna at breakup. I asked her if she would be down, and she said no. Not out of a spiteful place, just out of a time being of the essence place.
sure.
So
Yeah.
I'm sure next time we'll hit that, but like oh man, it's like finding a VMAX Rainbow Charizard in a pack of Pokemon cards. It's just mythical at this point. It's a mythical pull.
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
But yeah,
what were
big
we talking
RIP to
about?
Tupperware, I think. Yeah, Tupperware. We were on Tupperware. But yeah,
Tupperware.
big RIP to Tupperware. Tupperware. So I'm real paranoid about this microphone, bro.
Yeah,
I'm real
yeah, yeah.
paranoid because I got half a battery. They last a long time, and we are only going to be chatting for like roughly an hour, but I just get a little bit like,
I mean, it's we say an hour, but it usually ends up being longer, doesn't it?
yeah, it does. Like, yeah, last week it was 120.
Yeah.
And then I think that when we tried to record on Monday, it was 120 as well.
Mm.
But yeah, so I mean, I think where we're at now, I mean, you were just telling me before about how you got a new gaming emulator, and from that, you're going to start making some gaming based content. Is that correct?
That is correct, Your Honor. I
Sustained. Overruled.
big shout out to my coworker. He pulled through. I mean, like it wasn't. I can't really say that because he was just like, oh, I'll pop around and I'll get it all sorted for him. We'll play some FIFA Street 2. I was like, bet. Sure enough, he pops over. We played a bit of FIFA Street 2. Played some NBA Street Volume 2.
Oosh. What a
Yeah,
game.
not NBA Ballers because
No.
that's
NBA. Yeah, no, NBA Street 2.
NBA Street Volume 2. But yeah, so yeah, played a bit of FIFA Street 2. But yeah, it's got everything from like old arcade games to like Sega Genesis, Game Boy, Game Boy Advance, Game Boy Color. It's got like all the Pokemon games. I've got like the first Animal Crossing, which I'm kind of want to give a go because I've seen on Reddit it's a lot more unhinged than what Animal Crossing is currently. But yeah, so yeah, a few games in there that I can that I'm keen to play and get a first hand experience of, and then make some content. I've been real gassy. Yeah, I think I just ripped the chair actually.
Rude.
But yeah.
Yeah, so no, like our childhood copy of NBA Ballers was, for whatever reason, in my CD sleeve in my car when it got stolen, and the only thing they stole from my car was my CDs. So our childhood edition of NBA Ballers has unfortunately gone missing.
Damn.
Damn.
Because
Never to be seen again.
Damn. because I've got the PS2, and man, I want to play that game. And I need to find a PS3 because I want to play Family Guy Back to the Multiverse.
That's honestly, every time we speak, you have brought that up at least once. Like,
Because I love that game. I don't know what it is. It's
it's a
just
pretty fantastic game.
so good.
I've got
And a
some
game called
PS3 games tucked away here as well. So like, when you do eventually find one, I've got like Brutal Legend and
That's on the Game
Twisted?
Pass.
Oh, is it on the Game Pass?
Yeah, Brutal Legend is.
For this month?
No. So that you're thinking of the PlayStation games. The
Oh,
Xbox
right.
Game Pass is like the Xbox Game Pass is like it's like a catalog of games that you can.
Oh,
Just
right.
play.
Okay. Sorry. No, here I am thinking it's the monthly. Like
Nah.
I can't remember the name for it. You can tell how much I game. Speaking of games, this week there's not huge amounts of gaming news, unfortunately. PALWORLD is getting sued by Nintendo for copyright infringement.
It is.
Yep. That is wild. Like, I understand there's obviously some pretty close similarities. I understand that you would catch monsters in a ball, but it's Pokemon with guns. It's Ark Survival with like monster taming, and there's so many more elements to it. It's a lot deeper than people give it credit for. Where Pokemon is essentially just unsolicited dog fighting with, like monsters that were created 30 years ago. PALWORLD has kind of taken that and flipped it. The monsters have guns now, and you tame them over time. And dude, the game pulled like 25 million players first week. That's for a essentially an indie game. That's unheard of.
Yeah. Because I think what Nintendo are really like getting at is the IP infringement.
Yeah, but the IP they're chasing is just like Pokeballs and like the little things that could kind of like, I don't know if they've trademarked Pokeballs, they probably have, but like if they're not called Pokeballs and they're to catch the monsters, then it's kind of, I don't know, it's much of a muchness.
It'd be like a tiny difference, like when you get ads for games on like your phone, they're like, oh, it's play this Pokemon game, and it's not actually Pokemon. It's like like Pocket Monsters or little guys, little bits,
little bits.
Eat some food.
Pocket Monster.
Piece of shit.
I hardly know it.
Yeah, nice.
And it's like I think for me, yes, when it comes to that IP, there are monsters that look really similar to Pokemon. Like the main dude that's in all the promo looks like just a big kick-ass Pikachu. Everybody knows that. It's kind of like that's where that similarity kind of rings true the most. But there's other ones that are like background Pokemon. In saying that though, Pokemon is not what it used to be. And this is coming from like a dude who turns 30 next year, like, and is so stuck in the ways of those early GBA games. But for me, it's like, it's such a hard one to place, because for me, there's 150 Pokemon, right? And then I played up to 151. Yeah, but so I played through Kanto, Johto, and Hoenn. I played through all those regions.
Hoenn has like 300, like over 300 Pokemon though.
Yeah, but once it got to like, I think after that was it Alolan straight after that when it started to get really weird?
No, well after that wasn't it like it was like Pearl and Diamond? I don't think that was Alolan.
So I don't know the region for, because that was like Chimchar and Piplup and those ones, right?
Yeah, Turtwig.
Yeah, well, I mean, so technically we did play those ones as well. I just don't think I was as invested as I was.
Shout out to Tim for that.
Yeah, big shout out to Tim. Oh, bro, the R4 chips and the Nintendo DSs were goated with the sauce. I played so many games I would never have gotten to play otherwise if not for Timbo Slice, and I appreciate him so much.
Yeah. I remember playing Madden 08, playing as the Jacksonville Jaguars and just rushing every play because Jones Drew was the GOAT. You know.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. You could put Tom Brady on any pass and he would clock it.
Yeah.
Any pass, and this was
More of
like
a Dan Marino
this
guy
year.
myself. I'll be honest.
More of a Dan Marino man.
Well, yeah, like not only was he in one of the best movies ever made, Ace Ventura: Pet Detective, but he
Yeah,
also was he was a current day quarterback, but in the 80s. Like,
yeah. No, I
um,
feel that.
he led the Dolphins to multiple Super Bowls. Unfortunately, didn't win a ring, which is just criminal. Um, managed to beat the Chicago Bears when they were the most feared team in the mid 80s, I think it was. He didn't win a chip, but he won many hearts. You know?
I've recently been converted to a 49ers fan, and it is not because of last year's Super Bowl. It is because, and I'm not even sure if I should be like saying this on the podcast or whatever, but I won't say exactly who it is. I'll be very aloof, but my friend, who I have at one stage played music with, his first cousin is married to the guy who owns the San Francisco 49ers. And I made a promise through a promise that if they lost the Super Bowl, that I would be converted to a 49ers fan forever and I would leave the Pats behind. I was so confident in the first part of that game that the 49ers were going to run away with it that I placed a bet
Nah.
and then they lost. And Taylor Swift won the Super Bowl and everyone was shocked.
It's because Patty Mahomes is a serial winner. That's just how it goes, you know?
Yeah, he's the LeBron James of soccer. Like he's
Three Super Bowl in the last 5 years, and I think he's won like 4 MVPs or something crazy.
Yeah, I know he's a wild athlete, bro. I get that, but when you hear him speak in interviews, he sounds exactly like Danny McBride. Like you should look that up after we jump off this call. Like
Yeah.
just the side by side comparison of Patrick Mahomes and Danny McBride. It is wild how close their voices are.
I can see them both in my head.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of the 49ers quarterback name. I can't remember him. Oh, 40, not 48ers.
48ers. The 46ers.
49ers space QB. Brock Purdy, that's his name.
Oh,
Brock Purds. Big up.
I watched the first game of the season on Monday morning
Yeah.
in my hotel room, and that did go hard. That I like that Duke has the games live when they're available. So yeah, I got to watch the 49ers opening game of the season. I got to watch them lose, which was great.
Dolphins
yeah,
won.
I think that
Dolphins won
Vikings,
first
so
week
playing
on
the
a huge
Vikings.
comeback against the Jaguars,
Oosh.
but then they lost like by 30 points against the Bills in the second week. Bit of a shame.
Yeah.
But that's just how it goes. You know, you can't win every game. No one's perfect.
Yeah, I mean, anyone that knows me knows that I'm normally a Massachusetts sports fan. Like, I'm a Celtics guy.
Yeah.
I don't really watch MLS. I couldn't be asked about the New England Patriots. I don't not the New England Patriots, the New England Revolution. I've
You've
recently
gone to the other
converted
side.
from the Pats. I've flipped the script, but I don't want to be a California teams merchant. You know what I mean? Like where people just sort of go, oh yeah, no, I'm a Lakers fan because of LeBron, or I'll watch a Rams game because I'm a big fan of ODB. You know, like, yeah,
Yeah, I'm a. For me, it's Dolphins. Mainly because of Ace Ventura, but also, like, obviously, Dan Marino. It was either that or the Chicago Bears, but that's because of Mike Ditka and Kicking and Screaming. Because
yeah,
he
that makes
was,
sense.
oh, what a great movie that was.
I was gonna say before, like, you know, because Ace Ventura was one of our childhood movies growing up, right? Like the themes in the movie, it really shouldn't have been, but you know, like we had our own VCR that was outside, and we had the VHS tapes and stuff. We're watching movies that we shouldn't have been watching at an age we shouldn't have been watching them at. So,
Yeah, that's
you
why we're
know,
so mature
I mean,
nowadays.
oh, absolutely. It's like, you know, when your mum works two jobs and you've got, you know, like people looking after you that immediately fall asleep on the couch as soon as mum leaves, like you're going to get up to some shit. So I was thinking about it the other day and how wildly transphobic that movie actually is. Like,
Yeah,
not to be like, you know, trashing on classics or whatever. It's a movie that you and I both hold dear, but the the transphobic nature at the end of the movie stemming from like Einhorn just not being honest about her situation is, I mean, yeah, and kidnapping the dolphin and probably killing a bunch of people as well, but like it just kind of, yeah, that last scene where they're all like throwing up into the water and stuff, and it's just, it's a little bit wild, man.
yeah, it's definitely problematic. But also like catching the bullet in his teeth. Do you remember that from like one of the car chase scenes?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like that was pretty wild. Um, but yeah, definitely a problematic movie upon rewatch in current day. Um, but still a classic. Still a classic
Oh
movie.
look, you know,
Ace
it's like
Ventura 2,
watching,
another great movie.
oh,
Two,
another
you
classic.
know,
But so I mean,
yeah.
with the problematic nature of the movie, it's like being in 1995 and watching Sean Connery smack the shit out of that chick that he was on a picnic with in one of the James Bond movies. You know,
Yeah.
like in the
Yeah.
60s, it's like, ah, yes, she should have been put in her place because she spoke out of turn. And then you get to the
Yeah.
1990s, it's like, hey, you can't really be doing that. But I'm definitely gonna laugh at when they rip this trans person a new one. And then you get to 2024, it's like no one better laugh about anything. Like no one, you better, if I catch you laughing about a single thing, there is going to be some serious consequences.
Yeah.
So
It's
yeah, the problematic nature. I hazard a guess every so often about in 20 years time what we won't be allowed to laugh about from now. You know,
yeah, I
like,
think
and
it's
this is,
yeah, I think it like people like I've watched like the old Dean Martin roasts from the 70s, and and like you'll watch a lot of like this, it's definitely problematic. Like
oh yeah,
Don Rickles, who's an absolute legend, does make some, you know, some fairly racist jokes, I'll be honest.
oh
And then
yeah,
you look at the
some hairy
comments.
situations.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and you look at the comments, and it's like, oh, back when, you know, you could just laugh and no one would be offended. Back when comedy was comedy, it's like, yeah, but you know, you also, it's just not the same. Like you can't.
No, but it's laughing at
Yeah,
someone else's expense. Now comedians have to be clever in their delivery and they have to be clever in their writing as not to poke fun directly at an individual, but you can still make fun of the like surrounding people, I guess. You know, like you can make fun of a group of people or a class of people, but you know, to tear them apart individually for things that they may or may not be doing is where a line gets crossed.
yeah,
You know, I think the only place that's kind of safe to like rip people apart individually now is like the Catholic Church because of previous doings. You know what I mean? Like you
yeah.
can kind of, you know, tear
Catholic
strips off
Church,
them because it's like
Republicans.
you know that's, oh yeah, Republicans is another easy target.
Yeah,
Yeah, like oh, I mean Americans in general, really. Like I
Leonardo
it's
DiCaprio.
yeah, Leonardo DiCaprio for dating
Yeah,
anyone under the age of like no one over the age of
25.
25 or whatever.
No, don't turn 25. You're so hot. That kind of thing. You know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I still
Sucks
like
for
the
him. I'm
I've seen.
27.
Oh, I know he's lost out. We spoke about the 9/11 memes and how they keep cropping up last week, and it
Yeah.
is it is getting to a point now where, because I have seen so many of them, that my Instagram Reels feed is like destroyed. It's just like brain rot memes, and I get at least one 9/11 meme every single day.
Yeah.
And it was something to do with like how pirates would have reacted to being in the early 2000s. And it's a guy dressed in a pirate costume standing next to one of those big back TVs, and the second planes just hit the planes just hit the second tower, and he goes "Yar!" like in
Yeah.
surprise. And it's just like, it's so
Rough.
dumb, but it catches you at
Yeah.
such a good time, and obviously, a big RIP to all the victims and stuff. And I know this is the second week in a row we brought it up, and I'm not trying to tear strips off, like the World Trade Center, and how World Trade Centers, and how
Well, you can't really tear strips off the World
disastrous
Trade
that
Center because
was.
it's already gone.
Yeah, fair. Jet fuel can't melt steel beams.
Yeah, there's
That seriously, that loose change documentary was actually wild. Like, I watched it, I took it with a grain of salt. You can't really deny the evidence, and it does really look like a controlled demolition. But I'm not an engineer, so I'm not in a place to say.
true, but like, um, it's a difficult one because like jet fuel can't melt steel beams, but it could probably damage them to a point where it becomes unstable. So you get one floor that collapses, and then another, and then another, and it's just a domino effect.
And it's the weight of
That
all of the floors, yeah. So
yeah,
I mean, like I say, I'm not an engineer. It might very well be explainable. It might very well not be. We just we just kind of don't know. It's Schrodinger's World Trade Center at this point. Um, Sorry, that was a bad
that's
analogy.
awful.
Moving from 9/11 back to video games. So the PS5 was announced. PS5 Pro was
Yeah, we
announced,
talked about that
and
last week.
oh, we did. So initially, everyone was like, price wise, I'm not there.
Yeah,
Definitely not
over
diving in
eleven
for
hundred
that.
New
And
Zealand
then
dollars.
it's actually crazy how much they think that I'm going to pay for it. And then they dropped the 30th anniversary colorway, and it's PS1 with the grey strips, and they've put the color back into the buttons, and the USB-C cable they give you with it is also grey, and it
Yeah,
goes into the
it,
PS5, and it
and it
scratches
looks
that
like the
nostalgia
actual like
itch.
dongle.
Yeah.
It looks like the
Oh yeah,
attachment.
that's right.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's got the little attachment on the end. Yeah, and
it's a thick boy.
they know, like, there's just a little, like when you scratch a dog behind its ear and its foot goes. I've got one of those right behind my ear. It's a nostalgia one, and whenever that goes off, I
Not
just
your
can't help
dog
it.
though.
But nah, Woody's one's
He's just
located on
always
his
so
ass.
no. He's just too concerned about everything else to
He's
have a
so
spot to
worried.
scratch. Yeah,
He's constantly worried. He's as worried as I am about microplastics in my testicles. Like, but
yeah,
that's on a constant basis for him. He doesn't allow himself to laugh because the world's in such a state.
but yeah,
I'm
no, it,
hoping
it
I'm gonna
does
lock
look it
myself
does
up
look
on
good.
iPad.
Um,
It really does. 1,100
yeah,
bucks though. Like, and I know you're a bit of a latest iPhone girly. That's kind of like your go-to, is like, as soon
I'm a
as that shit
consumerist,
drops,
hundred
I got to
percent.
cop that. Yeah. But are you a consumerist to the point where you need a 30th anniversary PS5, or can you wait until someone gets bored of theirs and chucks it on Facebook Marketplace?
Nah, because I won't like. I don't really need the 30th anniversary one because what I'll do is once they're released, I'll just buy a cheap secondhand one off like just a cheap PS5 first edition off Trade Me because they're still good.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh, I play mine. I've been playing mine a whole lot more recently. I've been playing a lot of Ultimate Team. So much Ultimate Team recently.
yeah, well, yeah, because FC25 comes out in 5 days, and I was looking
I,
at it.
I I'm not. I know you would. I know you would. I even sent you that reel about being weak and not like, we have to hold
Yeah,
strong. They can't keep feeding us this garbage and
no,
expecting us to buy it.
well, because speaking of, a couple things popped up that really intrigued me. One was like the 17-year-old darts player Luke Littler or something.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
He was in a darts competition, and he was on form. He was like doing what he usually does and beating everyone else. But he's pulled out of the tournament that's happening on the 27th, 28th, suspiciously around the same time that FC25 is being released. And I can
Yeah,
understand that because, like, I would, like, for me, it's that, like, um, I remember I was working at J&L and I'd get so giddy because FIFA 17 had come out. And I was like, oh, I'm
yeah.
going to play the shit out of the beta. And then I get home and I'm going to buy FIFA points. I'm going to open all these packs. And, you just get super into it. Claim to
Well, I
fame
mean,
was
for him,
reaching Division 1, FIFA 15. What a team that was. 4-3-3, Alexis Sanchez on the left. I got
I
relegated
am
the same season.
I
But
am well and truly locked in Division 9, bro. I am not leaving
yeah,
ever. I just
it's a different game.
I put on a game. Like, people make FIFA their like whole lives, bro. Like, I put
Yeah,
on the game, I sat there, I played 3 games in a row, I got whooped every single time, and it just, it does something to your
you
soul.
can't
So
keep a
I was
clean
just
sheet.
like, nah, God no.
Nah.
Yeah, so I went straight back to my squad battles and
Yeah,
squad building challenge. Yeah,
but and
lone tear on my cheek.
another thing that I found interesting. Bates in '87. Do you remember him? Did you ever watch like FIFA content?
Not a huge amount. Like, I started watching a lot of those YouTubers after they got big for their FIFA content. So
Yeah,
KSI afterwards, Chris MD afterwards. I
yeah.
never watched FIFA content.
So there was like so I watched a lot of FIFA content, obviously. So Mad HD
Shocked.
Gamers way back, Bates in '87, Nick 28, T, uh, AJ3 FIFA, all those guys. And Bates, I remember Bates in '87 just being this big dude, just this big bald dude. I came across a reel of his, and he's lost a whole lot of weight, and I was like, man, that's insane because I just remember him playing in the Wembley Cup and just being this big egg shaped dude, just not being able to, you know, run, and now he's like skinny as not like Nick avocado levels, but
Yeah, I
but
felt like there
yeah,
was some anorexia going on there, bro.
yeah. But my favorite
Yeah.
was always the way back HD because he would he would make the videos interesting. Like he would put like little songs at the start. He'd do like crazy combinations like Zlatan Ibrahimovic partnered up with like a Korean striker, and it'd be like Behimovic or Eto Himovic,
That's cool.
like those kind of things. And I've still got like the song stuck in my head um, of like the Behimovic video, just because that's like one of my favorite ever videos. I was gonna sing it, but I won't because you know
I need to rest my voice. I've got gigs coming up. I got to rest my
I'm
voice.
also out of breath.
Yeah, well, there's always that.
Yeah.
Moving on, pivoting ever so slightly. Movies this week. I didn't actually have a lot for this, but apparently Beetlejuice has come out to like rave reviews. They
Mm,
reckon that Tim Burton is back. He's back. He's been resurrected once
yeah.
again.
People are thirsting over
I
um, Michael Keaton for his
Well, Michael Douglas, as the case may be.
yeah they're thirsting over Michael Keaton Douglas, which is cool. Yeah, they're saying it's just a top notch movie. They did
Yeah,
because I can't remember the name of the guy, but the ginger dude that was the principal in Ferris Bueller's Day Off. That's in the
yeah, I
first
know
Beetlejuice
exactly the guy
movie.
you're talking about. Yeah,
Yeah, because they couldn't bring him back for the second movie because there was allegations of him talking to like a 13-year-old boy. So
yeah. But those
yeah,
allegations have been around since like early 2010s apparently. Like
yeah.
this is, and there's stupid articles popping up being like, you'll never guess the reason why Alec Baldwin wasn't brought back for Beetlejuice. So is it
I
because he
think we all
shot
know.
someone? Like,
Yeah,
yeah, it's just the clickbaitiest content that they can put out, like they can possibly put out. Oh yeah, so
yeah.
Alec Baldwin, if you weren't watching the news every day for the last 3 years, has been dealing with trials and kickbacks from essentially murdering someone straight up on set by mistake, and now having to deal with those repercussions.
Because
So
murdering someone on set, that brings us to The Crow, doesn't it? Because they,
It does. Oh no. So the new
yeah,
Crow is apparently just shithouse. Like,
awful.
I saw a quote online that was probably one of the harshest things I've ever seen someone say about a movie is that this version of The Crow was the worst thing to happen to Bruce Lee's legacy since the last Crow movie. And that's like his son literally died during the making of that movie, and it's like a cult
But it's
classic for
become a,
goths.
yeah,
But yeah, that's kind of where it sits though. Like it's everybody's Halloween movie, or you know, if you're too young, if you're too old to watch like Nightmare Before Christmas, which technically should be a Christmas movie, but people get they go too
Die Hard's a
far and they
Christmas
watch it at
movie.
Halloween. Die Hard is a Christmas movie. I'm willing to die on that hill.
Yeah.
Like Bruce Willis himself said it's not a Christmas movie, but Bruce Willis also has like late stage Alzheimer's. So we couldn't
Yeah.
trust anything that dude said in the last 10 years. It's definitely a Christmas movie.
Have you heard the conspiracy around like Brandon Lee and his death on the set of The Crow? Have you? There's like some wild conspiracies out there that it was like the Korean mafia that rigged the gun to shoot him because Bruce Lee was becoming a huge Bruce Lee became a huge star and basically left like Korea or something like
But he
that.
wasn't Korean.
Um, was
Bruce
it
Lee was
Korean?
Chinese.
Oh
Well,
no,
technically
but
he was American.
no, but
He was
I think
born
it was
in
in
America.
it was the Korean film industry that he was it the Korean film industry that he was a huge part of. I don't think it was the. I'll have to look.
No, actually, that's starting to sound a little bit familiar. I
Yeah,
understand where you're coming from there because I know the conspiracy around him being a mafia hit was definitely a thing. I also, and then going even deeper into that iceberg, there was a conspiracy that he was a sacrifice for a debt that needed to be repaid because Bruce Lee became such a huge star and his
yeah,
legacy was like, is destined to live forever. Like my son at 8 years old knows who Bruce Lee is. You know what I mean? And he's never seen a Bruce Lee movie, but he learns through the zeitgeist of pop culture because everyone knows who Bruce Lee is.
and he is proficient in martial arts.
Yeah, well, he is very proficient, but like it's
I have video
the
evidence.
yeah, I've seen him do it on the trampoline, bro. Like
Yeah,
I'm scared. I'm looking out for myself here.
yeah,
But it's for me it's one of those things where you sort of go like, how deep do you want to take it? If they were gonna perform a hit, if they were gonna perform a sacrifice, would it be on camera? Because like they're gonna bring in a body double. They're not going to use that footage. They legally can't. So at what stage do you go, okay, it's a mistake? Like on Rust, like on the set of Rust, it was a mistake. I don't think Alec Baldwin got up that morning, ate his cornflakes, and came into work like, yeah, I'm going to shoot the production, whatever. Like, who was she?
I think it was like a PA, a production assistant. I
Yeah.
can't remember.
Yeah, I'm
But
gonna
yeah,
I'm gonna pick one production assistant and shoot them. I don't think that was the case. I'd like murder was the case, but I don't think he did it on purpose.
yeah, like with Philip Seymour Hoffman, another conspiracy around that, because he was apparently I think gonna leak some detrimental information about the Church of Scientology, but he died of a drug overdose. You know,
Supposedly.
supposedly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But that's the thing with like there's just so many of those allegations coming out at the moment. I was gonna wait. I was gonna wait because it's probably the biggest part of the episode. But yeah, I will quickly glaze over. I actually no pause. You can't say glaze anymore. We'll quickly go
no,
over Katy Perry's comeback album. Apparently trash. Like we're onto the subject of music this week. Apparently, it's quite trash. Critics have come
she
out
peaked
saying
in
that it
2010.
sounds like it sounds like it's AI generated. Apparently, and the cringy, horrid promo that she did, where it's like, if I come downstairs and you've done the dishes, I'm gonna suck your dick, and it's like, And then she just does that real high pitched cackle, and people are clipping it up
Yeah.
and making memes out of it and stuff. And it's kind of drawing attention back to her. There's a bunch of like thirsty millennials that are making videos of like when she says it and she does the cackle or whatever, it cuts to them doing the dishes in the kitchen. It's like, oh, gross, man.
Yeah.
Like,
It's like, bitch, I don't have
yeah,
stairs to have. I don't have stairs. I'm not rich like you. You know.
no. And like, and aren't you
I'll
rich
do the
enough to have a
dishes.
dishwasher or someone to do that? You know,
Yeah.
like, yeah, I don't know.
I'll
I
do the
think
dishes because it
people.
helps out.
Yeah, that's right. But like, I think people in this day and age, like, the Hawk Tour chick has her own podcast. She's got a bunch of
Talk to
famous
her.
people coming on. Yeah, Talk Tour. Great name for a podcast, by the way. Like, I'm
Unfortunately,
not a
good
fan
name.
of. Yeah, I'm not a fan of her rise, as it were, because I've never seen someone exploit a meme so heavily in order to, like, you know, push for financial gain and push for notoriety. You know,
I'm
she
all
got
about it.
talked to on the street, and out of nowhere she's essentially built herself an empire. Like,
Yeah.
she is what people think the American dream is, that you like,
She
that you
pretty much
can,
has
you know,
achieved it.
anyone can make it. Yeah, but completely by accident. So I feel like there's, you know, there's definitely middle ground there where you sort of go like, okay, but what's your talent? Oh, I talk in a southern accent and people find me charming for some reason. It's like, okay, cool. Like, are you, you know, do you have like a communications major? Like, do you know what you're doing? Oh, no, but I've got financial backers now because people find me charming. So, all right, so how long until your light burns out then? I don't know. I give it 6 months. So what can you do in that time? I'm going to make merch. I'm going to start a podcast. I'm going to try and release a song. I'm going to rub shoulders with as many famous people as I can. And then I'm going to burn out by 2025. And I'm just going to coast off that money until someone's going to find me working in a fucking Walmart in like 2 years' time. So
Honestly, I'm
I,
all about it.
yeah.
I'm all about it. I'm not going to listen to the podcast. I'm not going to listen to her song. I got good humor out of it when it came out. Get that bag, sis. You know, if you want to like take this small phrase, the two words, and just make it into, you know, a worldwide phenomenon, make millions off it, go for it. I wish I could do that.
Oh,
You
look,
know,
I'm all for her getting that bag. Please do not get me wrong. I am very much in the get that bag sis camp. What I'm not looking forward to is the eventual decline. As a person who was in the social media sphere, or is in the social media sphere, and had like a month-long meteoric rise where I was, you know, shared on Lad Bible, and I was on TV in the States and TV here and
you
all that
never
kind of
talk
stuff.
about this.
And then watching that sort of like gradual plateau that happened, and then just a sheer drop, bro. Like,
Yeah, but you
there are
didn't take
people.
advantage of it.
No, because I didn't have the means to do so. Like, in the States, once you get over 100,000 followers, the TikTok creator program pays you. If you get a certain amount of followers on Instagram or Facebook, Meta starts paying you. They've only just started paying me. And I think my last check was for like 25 US over the course of 3 months. And in one of those
That's
months, I
about
had a
50
video
bucks though.
hit like 6 million views. Bro, and one of those videos hit 6 million views among all my other videos that are still cracking in the tens of thousands, and 25 US. Like, are you taking the piss? You know, like, it stands to reason that that's why you have to diversify. That's why you have to do merch, podcast, song, whatever, and exploit. But the other thing too is she is a single woman, no kids, you know, unattached, able to drop everything and move to LA if she wanted to try and pursue whatever this was going to, you know, whatever was going to happen here. I am a married father of three, full-time job in, you know, in a band in my community, playing, you know, like sport and all that kind of stuff. I'm rooted here in a very small town at the bottom of the world, making videos. And as much as I would love to have exploited it as best I possibly could, I didn't have the time or the resources or even the know-how at the time. You know, like, if anyone in the Whited Upper starts making content, and I beg they do, bro. Like, it's so much fun watching others come up. I hate that tall poppy syndrome mentality. if anyone's listening and they want to know like how I managed to keep the video views up for such a long time, feel free to reach out. Like I am 100% going to give you all the advice that I have to give.
Sign up to his course.
Yeah. I'll set up a ClickFunnels. It'll be like $40 for a course, and it's me
That's
sitting
how you diversify
on the other side of the screen. It's going to be great. Like, yeah, I don't know. I got wildly passionate about that for a second there, but like, I feel like she's done the right thing in the sense of getting that bag. I feel like she's done the wrong thing by not diversifying what it is that she's about. Like even her podcast title is part of the catchphrase. It's like the episode of The Simpsons where Bart Simpson gets like, I didn't do it. And then he becomes the I didn't do it boy, right? He gets a song out with MC Hammer and everyone at school is like, say the line, Bart. And there's a whole, there's a whole thing that comes with it. And then all of a sudden you're on this plateau, man, and it's going good. And there's money and there's merch and there's fame and whatever else. And then just straight nosedive, just absolute see you later full send mentality. And it's like, yeah, I don't know. I've been on both sides of the coin. Hopefully one day I hit my stride again and YouTube is the next one to blow up. That's what I'm aiming for. But, worst come worst, I've had fun doing what I did. I made some great content. And I can say that I lived, did we spend too much money at the time? Yes. But we lived the dream, it's one of those, I call it a situation because, it's one thing to be internet famous, but it's another to be internet famous and completely broke. This Nike hoodie has a massive hole in it. Like I'm not out here wearing designer clothes, bruv. Like, anyway, so that's enough of my fucking bleating.
I'm hoping that I can make it big. I just got to make the stuff first.
Bro, that's the thing. It's like, and you know this because you've seen me go through it as well. It's about the consistency. As soon as you stop being consistent, the algorithm just goes, catch you later, bro. I don't want anything to do with you. Like, and you just get dropped off the face of the earth. I will post a video that I know would normally, during my run, I should have been getting like 30 to 50,000 views at minimum, at maximum, maybe 500,000. And now, because of the way that the algorithm has backed me into a corner, I think the latest one, I think I got less than 1,000 views on TikTok. Instagram still pumps though. Like I'm still getting numbers on Instagram. It just, it depends on what time of day I post. So I don't know. Yeah. Anyway, back to the allegations. Right, this is the juiciest part of the episode, ladies and gentlemen, and it is our last story for this evening. But P-Diddy arrested, and this story goes deep.
Off to jail.
Patrick Diddler is off to the big house. 800 and something dildos on his compound, allegedly, but that might be a sensationalized thing because of the 1,000 bottles of lube they actually found. You were telling me a story earlier about Trey Songz.
Yeah, so I had a clip come up on Instagram. Run that shit back. I had a clip come up on Instagram, and it was FuzzyTube. I don't watch FuzzyTube. I honestly don't understand why people do. But he was saying that he had a friend, so it's very much by, it's a secondhand account.
Yeah, it's a he said she said by association story. But
apparently, so FuzzyTube had a friend that went to a P-Diddy party. This friend got invited up to P-Diddy's room. He gets to the room, he sees Trey Songz sitting on P-Diddy's lap, and they were making out. And the friend was asked to join, and I believe he said no, he's not about that life. It's just, he doesn't want the diddler.
Fair enough. Like, it's and saying that, just to put some context to it, there's nothing wrong with being gay. By no means is there anything wrong with being gay. But
we've both had our hair washed by gay men.
Oh yeah, bro. Humberto had the softest hands. And I know you know who I'm talking about because he was Ross's partner. He was Brazilian. Dude must have moisturized like 1,800 times a day. I've never had my hair
honestly,
washed that passionately in my life.
honestly, like,
I miss him.
I do, I really do. You could just look into his eyes, you know.
He was real handsome too, bro. Like he was mad handsome
Super
too.
handsome.
And
Yeah,
like buff as hell. Like it
yeah.
was kind of scary
It'd
actually.
it'd be like It reminds me of this video. This guy like uh volunteered to like be rescued by firemen in like a how do it was like a simulation, and so this he explains it that this he's lying on the ground, he's got a missing leg. This rough fireman dude rushes in, looks him in the eyes, and he says, "I'm gonna get you out of here." Scoops him up and lifts him like he's nothing, and he's like, "I was straight before I came in here, sir. Thanks." You know,
Yeah.
but
Please
like
restrain yourself.
that's exactly how it was with Humberto. You know, it's like, hang on, you know,
Yeah.
can wash my hair
I
again.
mean, yeah, yeah. But please don't look into my eyes because I can't be falling in love today. It is a
Yeah,
Thursday, sir. So back to the diddler. And this is like, so his actual charges, right? What he's been hit with for getting arrested is he has allegations of racketeering conspiracy, sex trafficking, and transportation to engage in prostitution, as well as just being just a weird fucking dude. Like, that's,
yeah,
and you know how you get like a vibe from people? I have never been a Diddy fan, but that stems from music. I think his rapping is trash. I think him ripping off that Police song and spitting potentially the worst verse of all time in remembrance of Biggie, who was one of the best rappers to ever live. I literally have a portrait of him on my wall because
yeah.
man's was it was about that, you know. Actually, that was one of the funnier things I saw, bro. Like one of the memes I saw said, "Biggie wasn't cockeyed; he just knew that he had to keep one eye on Diddy at all times."
Yeah, that's probably
Yeah,
pretty accurate. Speaking of the
yeah,
greatest
bro.
rappers, Ti released a list of his top 50.
Yeah,
He put Tupac at number one. I can absolutely understand that.
yeah,
But he
facts.
put Drake in the top five, which shouldn't
What?
exist ever.
Oh,
Yeah,
what?
put Drake above Eminem and Lil Wayne and Kendrick. Um,
Nah, Ti's on something, bro.
yeah, it was a bit of a shame because Drake isn't even in the top 50. Like, yeah, he's a successful artist, but that's because he doesn't write his own songs.
No.
B, he's also a pedophile.
Yeah,
Um,
certified lover boy, certified pedophile.
yeah, it's I've never got the hype around Drake. Uh,
No,
but
never been a
yeah,
fan personally.
but the worst part is we both enjoyed Get Him to the Greek, and I thought P Diddy was quite funny in Get Him to the Greek.
That thought did cross my mind, bro.
Yeah,
And like this is, and it's
it's a
another
small part, but he
that
does it well.
he does, and it's an art from artist situation. Like in
Yeah,
the terms of the art being the music, his music is fucking trash, and I'm prepared to die
oh,
on
it's
that
awful.
hill. His features were bad. His hype man shit with Biggie ruined a lot of his songs. Just like just a trash individual. The lines that were written for him in the movie Get Him to the Greek were played well by him and the character he put on for that film. I'm willing to let that slide if I do end up watching that film ever again, which chances are I probably will at some stage, be it on a flight, be it like
Yeah.
boredom or whatever it might be.
Oh, so Jeffrey.
I Also, Jeffrey, like it's got way more good points than it does bad points as far as I'm concerned. Critically, a trash movie. Like critics absolutely destroyed that movie, but there's also a level of
Hurtful.
like,
Great movie.
you watch some movies and then you see the critics and it's just like, oh, I don't think you get it though. Like I don't think you understand that it's like
Like Year
it's like
One.
meta humor almost. Yeah, it's like year one.
Critics hated Year One, but that's like one of the funniest movies I've ever seen.
Oh, bro, it's a great film.
Yeah.
It's not us that's wrong. It's the critics.
Yeah. Yeah, but
Fuck
critics are
them.
just like Movie critics are just people that couldn't write or direct movies to save their lives, so they just have to be angry that, you know, at a medium
Yeah.
that wouldn't accept their shit work. So,
Yeah, exactly. No one's
you know,
listening to me, so I'm gonna critique stuff now.
yeah.
So a couple of more points with this Diddy thing.
Two horses
Um,
playing.
one kills the other one. Nay.
Nay.
But no. But the so back to some more serious type shit.
Sorry.
But Cassie Ventura, ex girlfriend of P-Diddy, that CCTV footage finally came out from the hotel. Have you seen that?
Yeah, I have.
Yeah, and he beat her up and
That's
down the
rough.
hallway and that. Like, oh man, just honestly, I hope he goes away for as long as they can legally put him away for.
Yeah.
Because if all of this stuff is true, and like honestly, that verse in the every breath I take song, or every breath you take, the one that he ripped off the police, just
Get
that
him too
verse
hung up
alone
on the
should get him a
song.
life sentence. It's so bad. It's so bad. And it still gets played on the radio and everyone's like, yeah, I remember that song. Faith Evans is the only reason why that song is even potentially worth listening to. I do not care for his rapping at all. Anyway, that's besides the point. Kesha changed the opening lyric to her one and only song TikTok. I don't believe she released any other music at all. I think she's just coasting
That's
off
not
that
fair.
fame.
That's not fair. She did a very good collaboration with Pitbull. Thank
Is
you.
it Timber?
Yeah.
Cool. So she got 50% of someone else's song. For the one song that she put out herself, which is equally as bad, she changed the opening
no, I will
lyric.
not take any Kesha slander on this podcast. That is a fantastic song. How dare you?
It's really not, bro.
Oh,
And then, but the
shut
opening,
the fuck up. It is a great tune.
the opening lyric, or the wake up in the morning, and she's changed it to wake up in the morning like fuck P Diddy, right?
Good.
Congratulations, you've hit your social justice quota for the day. Like, this is a 15-year-old song. You felt the need to post it on social media for validation and see if people will go back and give it a second listen after throwing up the first time.
I'm gonna do it.
Like, I haven't seen her since, oh god, since she did, oh no, she was in an episode of that new Muppet series they put out with that terrible YouTube lady.
Oh, yeah,
God, what was her name? No. Lily Singh, yeah.
That is Superwoman.
Oh, I never bothered. Sorry. The DC is for chumps. Aside from Batman, like Batman can stay. I like Batman. But
that's a bit too much slander for this episode. What about Martian Manhunter?
What about him? Justice League was cool, I guess.
Yeah, but you said what? Like Batman is the only good DC hero? Is that what I just heard?
I'm standing by that actually. Yeah, fuck DC
Oh,
in a big way. See this. Oh well, this is not a filmed episode, but Batman's on my right shoulder right now. Anyway, so she was in an episode of Muppets Mayhem, yes, where they did a series surrounding the Electric Mayhem, the Muppets band, and she comes through and does like a pseudo country song with the Electric Mayhem. She's in the episode for all of about 30 seconds. She says something very unintelligible, and then you never see her again. Basically, my experience with her in the early 2010s as well. Sorry, my original point, getting back to my original point, she is just like, she was trying to sing the song along with what was being played in the background, but she must have like just had lip filler done because her face wasn't actually moving. Her bottom lip quivered ever so slightly to let you... Have you seen that video?
no, but that reminds me of the Jersey Boys, and they brought on was it Frankie? What Frankie?
Oh yeah! Oh my god! Frankie Valli.
Yeah, Frankie Valli, and he
And-
looks like an animatronic.
Yeah, he does. I've seen that video because he's lip syncing clearly. Like he cannot sing like that anymore. There's no way. Yeah. But he was doing the Grease theme song, and
Goose
he
is the
looks like an
word, is
animatronic
the word.
because
Yeah.
but he's on a travelator as well. Like he's not even moving. He's on a travelator and he's slightly moving his arms. Like he might have even been an animatronic because
Yeah.
only his bottom lip was moving.
There's people saying like, "Oh, he must owe some serious money if they're still making him tour." Like,
You
honestly,
know they
he must.
they found Botox by fermenting sausage meat.
Oh,
Did you know that? That's like the original derivative of the word comes from something to do with the curing of sausage meat. This is actually I might need to double back on that and check my findings, but I'm pretty sure at last research, let's say,
yeah.
that's what I had seen, but I could be 100% wrong. If you've listened this long in the podcast, firstly, thanks for being here. Secondly, leave it in the comments below whether or not it is fermented sausage meat or not.
Back to the P-Diddy thing. Did you hear that apparently he made people call him daddy?
Bro, he was calling people daddy. Like
That's right, yeah.
there's a video of him talking to Meek Mill, and he's in, is it Meek Mill? I'm pretty sure it's Meek Mill. He's in the pool. He's like, congratulations on your success, daddy. And he's like calling this grown man daddy. And then cut to another clip, and it's LeBron James talking to him on FaceTime, being like, oh yeah, everybody knows there ain't no party like a P. Diddy party. It's like, LeBronicus, what are you doing at a P. Diddy party, my guy? Are you making out with Trey Songz and P. Diddler? Like, what are you up to?
Nah, he's too busy running the Lakers.
Bro, the fact that that dude gets like every rap album a week before it comes out just so he can post a story of him knowing the lyrics already is just, there's so much cringe content out there at the moment, and it's really starting to get inside my head.
Yeah. But yeah, speaking of cringe, I follow this page on Instagram. It's called New Zealand Daily, and I came across an article and I cringed heavily in my trousers. The mayor of Wellington, who last year was kicked out of a restaurant for being too drunk and like was basically really trying to exhibit her power by saying, "Do you know who I am? I'm the mayor of Wellington," whatever her name is.
Oh.
Yeah, just a gross woman. Apparently said that she's struggling to live on her salary of $189,000 a year in Wellington.
Oh yeah, no, you did share that article with me actually.
Yeah, so she's saying that she is struggling, to cover rent. She sold her car, so she's walking to work. It's like, cool, how are you struggling to live on $189,000 a year when that's more than double or triple what people earn? Like,
Oh yeah, I was just about to say, like, I work for the government as well, and she gets paid over $100,000 more than I do. You know what I mean? And like, yes, I'm not paying Wellington prices for rent because I don't fucking live there. But the fact of the matter is, like, I'm still paying an exorbitant amount of rent, and I'm still paying for a family's worth of groceries. Every week, every fortnight. Like, so it's.
But yeah,
it's it does stand to reason, but that's atypical in people in positions of power, right? Like they have no grasp of reality after a while. They sat down with Bill Gates and they asked him how much he thought a bottle of milk was, and he said $36. That was his point of reference, and he wasn't being ironic, like he wasn't trying to be funny or anything like that. They asked him how much, like just sundries, everyday items. How much do you think a quart of milk is? And at the time in the States, I think it was like $1.20, $1.50 or something. And he was like, "Oh yeah, just regular supermarket milk, right?" And they were like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Oh, I would say somewhere in the realm of like $36." And this lady was just like slack-jawed, like, "Mr. Gates, do you do your own grocery shopping?" And he's like, "Oh no, absolutely not. No, me and my wife can't really go out in public." Which is a fair shout. Like when you're worth that much money, then sweet. Is it Melinda or Belinda Gates?
I think it's
It has to be Melinda, right? Because Bill and Belinda would just be too much. Is it Melinda Gates? The ex
I think it
Mrs.
is
Gates,
Melinda.
basically. Yeah, so when she divorced Mr. Microsoft himself, apparently she became like the fourth or fifth richest woman in the world.
Mm,
Like
yeah.
just because of the separation fee and all that kind of stuff.
So yeah,
But
the mayor of Wellington, sorry, Tori Fano, her name is.
Tori
Um,
Fano,
yeah, has said she has decided to sell her car and walk to work to help pay bills due to growing economic pressure. And here's the part that rolled me up the most. Her annual salary received an almost 4% pay rise in July, but in 2002 she won $1.4 million in the lotto, and she's struggling to pay her bills.
she
According
won
to
1.4
stats,
in the.
yeah, I'll get to it. According to the stats, the average household income in Wellington is $165,000. I'm assuming that's like two,
That's
on
two
average, it'd be
incomes.
two.
Yeah,
That's two
yeah, that's
incomes.
two incomes
She's earning 30,000 more than that. Um,
by herself.
yeah, and so Brad Olson, who's the director of Infometrics, said the mayor's income is enough to live on comfortably in the capital. Um, Everyone's circumstances are different, but 189,000 is well into the upper half of what people get and should be well enough to live on. I went through the comments because some of them are just fantastic. Uh, I saw one and it cracked me up. I'll see if I can. It was something along the lines of "put the pipe down, auntie," which I thought was
Oh
just top notch. Um,
my god, that is actually horrendous. And then to win 1.4 million in the lotto and sit there with a straight face and tell that everybody how
mm,
hard it is like, bro, I'm lucky if some weeks I have $1.4 in my account. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Like I'm not about that going out and telling people how poor I am either. Like that's just the kind of shit that comes with living in this economy. That's actually wild. The fact that you got a stuff article about you,
yeah,
and the fact that the article was written about her not because of how poor she was and how everyone should feel sorry for her, but the article would have been written because the journalist would have been sitting there going, "Oh, people are gonna love this," like
yeah.
that's not a
It was
cry for help. That's just publicity.
definitely made for engagement. The
Yeah,
comments, "Fwa, put the pipe down, auntie." Maybe you should stop getting on the piss. Needs a cheaper dealer. Lay off the meth. All that sort of stuff. Because she was called out for being drunk in public, and apparently this is alleged. Performing sexual acts in public as well. That's alleged.
dang. Oh,
So yeah,
auntie, cut it
um,
out.
considers taking up side hustle. What are you going to do as a side hustle? You are the mayor. No one's going to. I honestly don't know how she's still the mayor.
Well,
I mean,
well, I mean, if we're
I've only,
performing lewd acts in public,
yeah, I've only been here nearly 4 months. Um, I'll be taking part in the next election. Vote for me. I'll make do with $189,000. Thank you very much.
oh
I'll
yes,
get
no,
this.
but
I'll
that's
get the city back on track.
it's getting to a point now where people in a professional space could go as far as to probably start an OF as well. Like
Mm,
she would be applauded, especially because it's Wellington. She would be applauded for empowering herself in such a way that she
mm.
started an OF whilst also being in a position of power. Like the
Cardi B
the
did
you
it.
know the so-called yeah, well, the so-called old fuddy duddies, like the 60 plus silver hair brigade who are still in the council space or the mayoral space will go, oh no, you can't be doing that. You've really got to sort yourself out, yada yada yada. It's like, yeah, vote me out next time. But in the meantime, I'm going to use all this publicity. I've started an OF. I'm going to make bank, and then I'm going to be able to pay rent.
Yeah.
Like,
Speaking of like grandparents, I still remember when I wore pink shorts around Nana, and she was like, "Why are you wearing pink shorts?" I was like, "Cause they're comfortable." Like calling me out for wearing pink shorts.
yeah, man,
Um, and I had a pink
it's a
iPhone as
different
well at the
generation,
time.
eh?
Mm.
Yep. It's a different, but you were a grown man
Yeah.
when you were wearing these pink shorts. You know what I mean? Like, and this is,
Uh,
it's a different time. And this is harkening back to that Ace Ventura thing from before. It's a different time. Like my son has a pink jacket that he loves to rock around in, bro. Like, there's a pink Pokemon hat that he rocks sometimes. I got no dramas with that, you know. Like, he actually, I did have a word to him the other day. He's like, "Oh, I would never paint my nails because painting my nails is for girls," and I'm like, "Bro, no, it's not." Like, I used to paint my nails. You know, I used to rock around like with metalheads and that. I used to have black fingernail polish. I got no qualms with nail polish if you want to get your nails painted, bro. And he's like, "Oh no, it's for girls." And I was like, I'm trying to get him out of that mentality where it's like everything is so finite. You know, this is for girls and this is for boys. Nah, bro. Like,
nah.
you know, but I'm not pushing any sort of agenda on him either. Like that's where the sort of where
Yeah.
the older generations go. Oh well, you know, you let him play with chick stuff. You know, oh Johnny chick stuff. You let him play with chick stuff, and he's gonna be, you know, he's gonna be a fairy or he's gonna be a puff or whatever. Which is, you know, like not my phrasing, but phrasing of those that you and I both know that I'm not willing to air out on this podcast. But something was said, something would be said. You know, but I'm very much in the case, or I'm very much in the mindset of I don't mind where they end up as long as they're good people.
Mm.
Like they could be, you know, they could be gay, they could come out as trans, whatever it might be. As long as they're open and honest with me and their mother, I have no qualms, none. You know, as long as they're a good
Yeah.
person, they're not harming anybody. They're doing the right thing by themselves and society to a degree, you know, like I'm not saying bend to the will of this system that we live in, but like, you know, you still have to go along to get along, those kinds of things. You have to have a job and yada yada yada. So, you know, there's those sorts of things you got to do. I have no qualms. I've got no issue with it at all. But it's yeah, I don't know. I a pink iPhone and pink shorts from a generation that was two generations before us is like, oh, he's going to hell. He's
Good.
he's going to hell in a handbasket. You know,
I see you
so
down there.
yeah, bro, I'm on my way. Like, yeah,
Curtis Mayfield wrote about it. He sang a song about it in the 70s. If there's
that's
a hell
right.
below, we're all gonna go.
I wrote I was writing poetry the other day because I'm really deep and meaningful.
Now that's gay.
But I was yeah, but that's gay. No, I was writing some poetry the other day, and I said, if the path to hell is paved with good intentions, then why does my tongue remain as concrete? Which I thought was like, it was just a little delicious lyric there. Call me T.S. Eliot, the way I'd be dancing on them pages, my guy. Good God. All right. Well, with that, we're about to hit 10:30. I got to get some sleep.